All right. Welcome, everybody, to your weekly collective. Great to see you. There were so many messages that came through both in my dreams and then also this morning as I was channeling. I can tell this is going to be a great day. Lots of shifting, lots of changing. In fact, we'll talk about it when I get into the dream portion. But one of the things that I saw, which for me is a very clear indicator of change, was like a glass breaking. So this can be like a glass ceiling breaking. This can be a breakthrough, a breakout moment. I'm going to put down a poll and we're going to talk about all of this now. So first of all, let me give you an introduction. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the weekly collectives here are special. It's basically something for everybody. I will do a portion in just a few moments where I break down the elements, earth, air, water, fire, etc. But most of what you see today is for everyone that intended to show up. So I'd like to just first and foremost say thank you for showing up. Welcome. And we have a really cool special topic today, which is about how to find your strength. And this was something today where the members and the Patreon folks helped me break the tie, because we were really, really close when I was kind of looking at the breakdown. And I think it boiled down to maybe sort of like a collection of 19 votes or something like that. So what's your hidden strength? I think that's a really cool thing to be looking at. We'll take a look at areas where you can really thrive, maybe some things that you don't want to be focusing on. This kind of helps a lot of you where you're trying to figure out, like, what's my calling? So we'll take a look at that. That's the special topic today. But let's talk about how this is sort of generally organized today. I'll begin with some channeled messages at the beginning. I was busy writing all of these feverishly here before we got started. We'll then move on to a 7-day forecast, because this is intended to be weekly, at least the beginning portion. Then we will look at blessings and blocks, things to like embrace, things to avoid, again, for the next week ahead. And before I get into, usually then we go into the elemental breakdown, which again is going to look at the 4 major elements and the signs underneath them. And then I usually will do a live poll based on what I've looked at. And we can look at a couple of smaller things that might be worth exploring. Then we'll get into the special topic, which is finding your strength. And I always like to close everything up with a meditation. If any of you joined me last week or this week, you've noticed that I've started to use a pyramid here, a crystal pyramid, just for a change, and I think you'll enjoy that. And I like to close also with a final question in case there was something that I didn't answer during the reading. So that's the major format for today. Welcome, everyone. I can see we've got a lot of folks here already, and so I'll get started here in just a second. If you have any questions, I have 2 moderators on Sundays, so either Dakota or Maria is here to give you a hand. They can point you in the right direction if you're looking for something, and they also just keep this room sort of welcoming. So thanks to them. And also just a couple of quick notes. Thank you so much for those of you that have, if you're a new channel member, or I see we've got a few contributions already. I like to acknowledge those contributions, but I do it at the very end. So stick around until the end of the reading and I'll say your name and I'll say thank you. I appreciate it and I see it. It's helping me do more of these because this weekly thing is something kind of new. I've just done it over the past couple of months. I'm really close to a milestone. It might happen in a week or 2. Once that happens, I will probably this month do another video. So if you enjoy what you're seeing here today, in addition to hitting a thumbs up, if you've never subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Help me get to 300 a little sooner, and I will do something cool. We'll do probably a Q&A where the members can ask questions, and I'll submit them in advance and then kind of pick the top 10 or top 15 and answer them. You can also follow me on social media if you ever want to get any of the recaps that I do. The link is pinned up above. All right, let's get into today's reading and take a look at the channeled messages. Interesting side note, sometimes people say, why do you do this first, or when is the reading beginning? The reading is beginning now. I show up about an hour and a half early or 2 hours early, and I kind of put all of this information together. This is me talking to my guides. This is me bringing in messages from dreams. It's no less valid than the cards. And in many ways, it might be even more valid because it's direct from source. So the reading that I do, I use multiple ways of kind of connecting to spirit. We don't just use one thing. Some people can touch objects. You can use cards. You can also use dreams and totems. And that's what this portion is. So this is actually when the reading begins. We're going to start with your spirit totem today. I had a couple coming through, but the main one that I'm going to focus on is Cactus. I also got the color orange. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow, but I will say that one of the things that we're going to look at today is power dynamics. because to me, I'm just going to look at the chakra, and we'll kind of take a look at it when it comes to the cards. And if I need to either do that as a soul path question or something that I throw out to you guys to vote on, we'll do that. So let's take a look at the cactus. I'm just going to pull up some pictures first. One of my favorite ones is the saguaro cactus here, which I think most of us kind of think of. It's that stereotypical one that you would see in like Wile E. Coyote or something like that. This is a gorgeous cactus that actually provides habitat for a lot of birds and bats and other kind of animals, which is great. One of the other things that we'll look at in a second is how it's a very specialized plant. The center portion is a stem, and all those little spines are leaves or modified leaves. They provide shade, they provide protection. It's also just an amazing testament to how this plant learned to thrive in a place where it shouldn't. Very Queen of Wands energy with cactus. Also, if you've never seen cacti after monsoon season, you should. They're beautiful. So many different types of, let's see if I can get it again, so many different types of flowers coming through here. So let's see, here we go. Different colors, different sizes, all really gorgeous, okay? So just wanted to highlight what the cactus looks like. It's not just a spiny thing. It actually is a beautiful, very, very modified, very advanced plant. So let's talk about how this applies to you and why this totem is really good. So what I see with this are some key things here that I've listed here. It's adaptability, which I just talked about. Most things, if put in a desert environment, would just sort of wilt and die. So it has so many things. I was doing research this morning, and I'll highlight a few now, but like it has this waxy coating, which helps prevent moisture from escaping. It breathes, which I think I'll talk about here in a little bit, during the evening rather than the daytime, so it doesn't lose too much water. Sometimes it just stops breathing and doesn't grow so that it doesn't basically lose any sort of energy. So it's very mindful of how it expends and how it kind of manages its resources. Again, it's a survivor. It's flexible, literally. All of those spines that you see, not the spines, but the ribbing that happens on it, that's actually so that it can expand during a rainstorm. So it has this ability to shrink and grow. And if you ever see a cactus that's kind of shriveled, you can probably bring it back to life by gently giving it a little bit of moisture, and you'll notice that it starts to hydrate again. So they can basically expand and contract as needed. To me, if I had to pick a card, if I did a sort of like a plant-based deck, I would definitely assign strength to this because it's the epitome of strength. It also overcomes adversity in like being the weather in the environment around it. So living in a sort of toxic environment or difficult environment and still thriving. And then also just protection. Every piece of this plant is screaming protection for the most part, at least on the exterior. It's hard to puncture. You can't quite touch it. It's very much built itself up to say, nothing's going to bother me. I'm going to survive. So what a strong symbol to come through. If any of you are having a difficult time right now, emotionally, financially, physically, this particular symbol shows that you can come back, and it's just saying, take it a step at a time. Cacti are very slow growers. I love growing them. I have some succulents that grow faster, but some of the cacti, you'll just see 1 or 2 segments or just a couple inches that it grows a year. But when it really starts to take off, it's amazing to see that. So pacing yourself is another piece, like temperance. I picked the top cards that I would see in tarot that would be connected to this. We just talked about strength. There's no way that you couldn't attach the sun to this card because it literally thrives in the sun. And also the Hermit, because it does have this sort of like standoffish or energy or pushing things back. I would also say when it comes to communication, we can't ignore all of those spikes, which are swords. Usually Queen or King of Swords, I would probably say in reverse, but it could be the positive sort of connotation of that, which is just being very direct. So themes that we're looking at just over the next week or so, and I would even say extending through retrograde. So I said this week / this month. Establishing or regaining power, which is why I was shown like yellowish orange. So I would say it's your power expression, your creative expression, because it's probably somewhere between the 2nd and 3rd chakras. Overcoming or balancing out egos in your life, whether it's your own or others, and then clear communication. I just talked about the ribbing on this, which allows you to expand and contract, or allows this to expand and contract. One really fun fact is the saguaro cactus here can actually store up to 200 gallons of water in a sort of like downpour. So this would be one that's probably like 100 years old. To me, that's amazing. And they're really teaching us this importance of saving, managing, and balancing our resources. So you may be in a period right now where it feels like it's a desert of opportunity. Your finances might not be growing the way you want them to be. What this is saying is to take a bigger look and think, well, all right, that's the present. That doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be. Maybe there are steps I can take. Recovery doesn't happen overnight. No quick fixes, but slow and steady steps towards financial security, towards growth, and more importantly, this sort of sustainable energy that you would get with a cactus. It's trying to win the long race, not the sort of sprint. And that's what it does very, very well. You should be flexible regarding two things. I would say the speed with which things happen and also the scope. Back when I was working a more corporate job, one of the things that one of the business folks would talk to me about was in any given situation, there was like a triangle that you would look at. There would be money or resources, which if not fixed, anything could happen. But money, scope, and timing. So if you don't have the money, then you can shift the timing out sometimes or reduce the scope. If you have a lot of time, then it may not make as much difference because you can still do all of this. You just got to kind of look at things and figure it out and get realistic with respect to what's possible. So it's very much Six of Pentacles energy there. Can't do it all at once, but you can probably do it all. You just have to wait or adjust or put things into phases. Because of the breathing piece here, this is really interesting. Like I said, they breathe mostly at night. They do the exchange of gases there because then they're not going to lose as much water. They kind of store everything up and then open up. They have all these sort of like little openings, and that's when they do their breathing. They remind us to breathe, pace ourselves and breathe. Also give other people space to breathe. That alone time, that quiet time. For some of you, if you're living a really busy life, like you work all the time or you have a family or there's just a lot of things that you're juggling at once, the only time you may have to yourself is when everyone's asleep, and then you can carve out an extra half hour. Or if you get up really early in the morning and you decide, all right, let's see what I can do with this 10, 15 minutes, half hour, whatever. That's a magical period. Please do that. When I had a busy job, in fact, that's one of the times that I would kind of carve out for writing or meditation or doing something for myself. So I think that that's important for you to kind of look at. The other thing that I want to kind of convey with this is that you want to take time to practice the sort of art of just breathing. So either through yoga, just doing some exercise. This is going to be a great way to move energy. We can do it from crying. We can do it from laughing. We can do it from breathing. So there's different ways to allow for that to happen. Breathing is the easiest. So feel free to kind of make some time to breathe. Let's look at the next piece here. I was talking about the spines or the little kind of things that are poking up there. Sometimes you even see things that look like it's almost like hair or whatever. Again, it provides protection against predators and shade. You wouldn't think of it, but that's also one of the reasons that they have these things, just to reduce how much surface is sort of exposed. They're reminding you to protect yourself, of course, but also to be direct, push back, just like those little needles would do, stand up and take the initiative. Again, you wouldn't think of the cactus as a leader, but it is. It's strong, it's sturdy, and it's pushing back and saying, hey, listen to me, pay attention to me. If I had to get a mantra from this particular totem, it would be less is more. And easy does it one step at a time. So use moderation and take those baby steps toward your desired outcome. There are several health messages that come through with this totem. Your water consumption. So, I usually have some herbal tea and I always have a glass of water handy as well. So let's take a drink right now. Practice what you preach. Drink enough water. Breathing issues may pop up this month. So this could be allergies. You might just not be practicing enough breathing. And sometimes we take shallow breaths. So if you ever notice a way to sort of self-cope in a stressful situation is usually a sigh. So if someone tells you something that you don't want to hear, when you do that, it's sort of giving you more energy to deal with this news. So there's actually a reason. It's not just rude. It's your body stepping in and saying, you need more. Let's give you a little bit more so that you can take this on. So breathe far beyond and before you need that sort of sigh to happen. It might also show that you're not getting enough sunlight, vitamin D, and also maybe just being careful of your skin protection. Like we said, make sure you're using SPF. So those are the key things that I kind of get there. The other thing that is important to note, I've used Cactus as a Totem before, so this was something that I remembered. They have a very shallow root system. It usually reaches out further than you'd think, but it doesn't go down very much because there's no water to tap into in the desert. They usually have one tap root, but then like a shallow network, but not the sort of support that you would see with the tree. Because in my dreams, I was seeing structural issues in a house, which I'll be talking about in a moment. I think that when you're looking at your body, it's like foundational pieces of your life too. So this could be the core, this could be your spine. I didn't even write this down, but these are the things that I'm thinking about. For those of you that might be having issues because you're standing too much or sitting too much, or you just have an injury in your leg or feet, you want to be paying attention to just how sturdy do I feel? Can I plant myself and feel like I can do this? So focusing on core, on spine, and on grounding in your body. Also just in your life, like support and foundational energy. So this could be, who can I count on? How firm are my financial sort of resources right now? All of that. Foundation. It's going to mean a lot of things to a lot of different people, but look at firming that up. When you're constructing something, again, I'm going to talk about it now, and then I'll probably recap it as I'm looking at these cards. But one of the dreams that I had was I was kind of in this open construction area. So if you look at like things from mid-century and before, there was a lot of rooms and things kind of diced up. And then right around, I think, the 2000s and 2010 or whatever, there was this new sort of open environment. In houses, that would mean like one big room. So the kitchen would flow into the dining room, and the dining room would flow into whatever, basically just one big room. That looks cool, but when I was sitting down, I noticed some structural problems. I looked at the roof and I was like, what's holding that up? We need a support beam. And then I also saw where like a hallway was demolished or something, but there was still like a wall, but it didn't connect. To me, it looked wishy-washy. I thought there needs to be more holding things up. We need a few support beams. You can take away the walls, but you better put some beams up. And then I also looked at the glass in the house, and it looked like it was going to shatter, either from a storm or because it was old, or because maybe, again, a foundational issue. So technically, for those of you that are building or buying or renting, I want you to take a look at things like the roof, the foundation, and the windows. We rarely look at the windows, but it annoys you sometimes after you move into a place, whether you're buying or renting. Maybe it's something that's like the old-fashioned kind that you have to, kind of like push out, or it leaks when it rains. Pay attention, especially with the windows and the glass in the house. Anyway, that was important, and I needed to say that. There's a lot of figurative things which can come through, but if you are constructing, buying, or renting, you want to look at that kind of stuff. And if you're trying to push back on that, especially if you're a landlord or a homeowner, don't. Those are things you want to pay attention to. Look at the roof, look at the glass, the windows, and look at the foundation. These things are key, and if they fall apart, the whole house is a mess, okay? We don't want that. In your life, these are going to be bigger issues, but I have to take one last little thing and then we'll go into that. The last thing, and I would say one of the most important things with cactus or cacti in general, would be that they are big magnets for pollinators. And it's not just bees, it's birds and it's bats especially. So this is a very cool thing to think about, which is maybe you don't see yourself normally as charismatic or magnetic, but you are. So open yourself up to opportunities, make yourself a little bit more approachable. You would be surprised. Some abundance is coming through. Okay. Now let's kind of go more into the structural piece, which is what I was just talking about. The foundations that are falling apart can actually be about friendships that I was looking at. So one of the key things here is to be honest. And what I literally saw was someone that was either like calling in sick or visiting in town, or somehow they weren't supposed to be at a certain place. And the person that thought that they were out of town or home, nursing themselves, caught them. So it was this sort of energy of, oh, you didn't tell me the truth. So there's a reveal. If you need to talk about something, or if you want to do something, it would be better just to do it and be honest about it, because there's a likelihood that you're going to get caught. You may also catch someone in a Seven of Swords moment where they're kind of sneaking around and doing something that they shouldn't. In this case, you want to be kind but firm and talk to that person and say, hey, what's this about? Let's talk. I would have rather heard it from you. Why didn't I? And that's kind of how you can start it. You could even just say, is there a reason that you felt that you couldn't come to me about this? Because I want to make sure I was approachable. And if not, then we have a bigger issue. There could also just be an unrequited energy or an unavailable energy. This would probably be more like moon or devil energy, where someone can't give you what you want. And this could either be because you want too much or they want too much, or you're otherwise engaged, whether it's like in an activity or literally you're married to someone. So there's something here going on where I feel like it's time to kind of like walk away from someone or something, because it's just not going to work out. There's things that are not meant to be at this moment in time. So ships crossing in the night, you'll wait until there's a better moment for that to happen. Now we'll get into the shattering of the window. So it felt like it was a storm coming, and like there was this blast of wind or something that just broke the window. That's why having storm-proof windows is going to be important. But to me, my guides speak in very sort of just their metaphors. Like I had a small fracture in my foot. They showed me a complete break of the foot, and I knew that wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. They just showed me, hey, this is coming, and I didn't know when or how, and it happened anyway. Sometimes when you're clairvoyant, you can't always control the outcome, and sometimes we're supposed to go through things. So I just went through, and I'm like, all right, it wasn't as bad as I thought, and I'm going to make sure that it improves. So for this, the window breaking could be two things, because to me, it was one of those like floor to ceiling sort of things. So I think it could almost be a glass ceiling or an artificial boundary that was there. So an old way of thinking, an old sort of, basically something that's outdated and it's breaking through or it's breaking down. And so tower energy is coming in, and you really want to be on the rebuilding side of that. You also want to make sure you're on the right side of the change. So if you know that something needs to happen and there's a movement to make it happen at a job you're working at, community, politically, whatever it is, then you want to go with that change, because otherwise that foundation is going to crumble down anyway. And you want to be kind of like the phoenix rising, not the thing that's kind of pushed underneath the structure. So there's something that needs to change, be an agent of the change rather than a resistant sort of force toward it, because it's going to happen one way or another. You could have a chance to get ahead. So if you're at a place where you've been paying dues for a long time, this is particularly for people that are working, there may finally be new management. There may be just, again, a merger or something that happens where the old guard is leaving and now you can step up. At some point, if you feel like there's this artificial boundary, you can break through it, go somewhere else if you want to. But there's a big shift happening, and I'm excited to see when we look at the cards here in just a few moments how that's going to factor out. I think this is also going to be involved with the magician energy, since you guys voted on that this month. All right. I already talked about construction. I really want you to get inspections done if you're going to buy something or build something. That's basically. Don't skimp when it comes to the glass. So if you're going to have a special sliding door or a window, weatherproof that. If you're buying something and it's an old house and you're looking at some of these things, take care of that. And if you're renting an apartment and you don't like something like that, just don't go to that place. I think there's something structurally that you can avoid there. You survive it. It wasn't like the end of the world, but it just is a lot of mess to clean up, and you don't really want that. I also think this can represent an outburst, an emotional outburst. So collect your thoughts, get some support. The support beams can also be support around you. You don't have to go out there and take the full impact of the negativity, the pushback, the conversation. So make sure that you have a team around you to help absorb some of the blow and also reiterate what it is that you want to say. You don't have to go with this alone. I think those are the main things that came through. Those are the main messages. And then we're going to now get into the next portion of this reading. I really like the cactus. I think it has fantastic sort of messages for you, especially with the adaptability, survivability, flexibility, strength, and overcoming adversity. All of those things are really, really good. So you can do it. And that's basically what this is saying. If you missed anything or if you just joined, don't worry. Like I said earlier, I put all of these things on my social media networks. So you can click on the link in the upper corner there. My handle is Nicholas Ashbaugh on most social media platforms. There's a couple exceptions, but you can, again, click on the link and see all of those. I will post this on my website, on the community tab, Facebook, Instagram, and I also put tweets. So should be able to find it. I don't always do it immediately because one thing people don't realize is this takes a couple hours to type all this stuff up. So when I can get to it, I will. Usually it's a day or two after the reading, so you'll be able to find it a little bit later. All right, we're going to move along now to the 7-day forecast and take a look at the messages for the next week ahead. And I'm just deciding which deck of cards I want to use for this. I think we'll use Afro Goddess, or maybe I'll use that for the main portion. I'll use that for the main portion. We're going to use instead True Heart Intuitive. All right, so let's see what's coming through for the next 7 days. I see someone that might be having an issue with the video. It doesn't look like it's a collective issue. Just go ahead and quit and restart or refresh. Usually that's what it is. Usually I would get a representation here if there was an issue, but let me know if that's actually, I got confused as I was doing that. I was doing the Celtic cross. Yeah, just take a look. We're going to redo this. All right, 7 days, not the Celtic cross, old habits. All right, the next 7 days. This is one for today, which is patience, which we were getting. All right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Let's take a look at Saturday and a preview of next Sunday. All right, so let's chat about what we're looking at here. So far, so good for the most part. Okay, so we have today the patience message, which I was talking about when we were looking at the cactus. One step at a time. Things may happen a little slower than you'd like them to happen, but they are happening. So be patient with yourself, be patient with others. For some of you, today is also about taking the first step in the right direction, or just finding some balance in your life, because this card also does show balance. So whatever's kind of causing you to kind of mentally think, I need to spend more time here or more time there, or you're just off a little bit. This is the day to sort of figure out what's your heart calling you to do more of. What are you excited about doing when you get up in the morning? I think that's going to be really, really important. Okay. So focus on that balance, focus on that decision. Things will be all right. Okay. As we look at Monday, I'm really excited about Monday for you. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse. I still take a very positive read of the Ace of Cups, whether it's upright or reverse. What I see here is that you're starting to open up creatively. I think one of the things that I want you to do with that creativity is not to hold back. One of the cards that I did see as I was starting accidentally to do the Celtic cross, I saw Judgment pop up there, and Judgment, I believe, was reversed. So I'd like you to really, we're still going to read those two little cards that popped up. I saw Judgment for sure. I want you to focus on accepting that I can do this. You can do this. You are ready for the shift and the change that's coming through, and just not to second guess yourself. Your heart isn't going to lead you astray. The one thing that's really important with the Ace of Cups is that it feels right. So your compass on Monday is, does this on a gut level, on a heart level, on a soul level feel like something that I want to do? There's a lot of people that want some of your time and energy. You want to be mindful of not giving that to somebody who is maybe just, they take more than they give. Maybe they exhaust you. We've all had phone calls with people before where you hang up the phone and you just think, oh my gosh, I need a nap. Or you have a meeting with someone and you have to take a deep breath and think that was a lot. So try to push back a little bit on those types of exchanges, because you have a lot of creative energy, a lot of power, a lot of opportunity. You want to be able to connect with that. There could be an unexpected invitation or advance. Someone might be interested in you and it could take you by surprise. It's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. Nothing really bad with this. Emotionally, you're sensitive on Monday, a little bit more open to things coming in. So you want to make sure that you take extra TLC, take care of yourself. So get enough sleep, eat enough, take some breaks, and say no if you need to, push back. Overall, it's a good day. Looking in at Tuesday here, we have a stronger energy, more balanced energy. We have Princess, or in this deck, Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is you starting to firm up an idea, starting to take the initiative. You might actually feel like you want to work with people a little bit more. Ironically, they're going to be checking in on you probably on Monday. So what you could do is say, how about tomorrow? How about first thing tomorrow? Or let's meet up after work or whatever. So the invitation comes Monday, but you can actually decide to act on the invitation on Tuesday because you're going to be much more collected. Really good day for business in general. I love wands for business. I like pages particularly because they're approachable, they're open, they get things happening. Basically, pages in the real world are really what make things run. You know, it's the assistants, it's the it literally is a page, someone that would go from one person to another to kind of run the errand or run the middle. The one thing for you though is we want to get a little bit above that. So I would say I'd love to see you get to Knight, Queen, or King energy. So take this and then also own it. Don't just be the middle person. See if there's an opportunity to give back a little bit of feedback. But overall, this typically means some good news is coming in. Some people are receptive to what you have to say and do, but don't be afraid to take initiative too and say, I'm really passionate about this. I'd like to be a part of this, because I think there's an opportunity for that on Tuesday. Wednesday is the trickiest day by far as I look at the next week ahead. This is the day where there's some necessary work that needs to be done here. We have the Three of Swords. I'm looking at all of the sort of the barbed wire, the sort of strings attached to this harp. So I think this is an unraveling or a revelation day. Back in my channeled messages, if you just joined, don't worry, I'm recapping that right now. I talked a little bit about something that was going to come out and that you would see it. So if anyone was hiding anything, if you were hiding anything, if anything has been, if you've been waiting for like some karmic justice to finally come through, it looks like it's Wednesday, but it could be a little messy. So when we see things that we don't want to see, it's a lot like this illustration. You feel it, you see it, but you don't really want to see what you're seeing because it makes you feel a different way. But just go with it, because I feel like this is going to help you be stronger, help you get out of a situation or rise above. It's going to give you the clarity that you need. In your life, if you suddenly see a connection to something or someone that is weighting you down, the Three of Swords is saying, let's do something about it, okay? Figure out why it's happened, if you want it to continue, and how you're going to cut the cord. And that's really what you want to focus on Wednesday, all right? Now we have the Two of Pentacles looking at Thursday, starting to regain balance, but slowly. The card is reversed, and I typically don't read this solely as a resource, or sometimes not almost ever as a resource card. But if you are looking at your resources, you want to make a smart decision. With the Two of Pentacles, you have to sort of decide one thing is going to take priority. That doesn't mean that you can't do the other, but look at this card. We have someone else here that's going to help take the load. You don't have to walk this tightrope alone. You don't have to do all of this. So say, hey, I can only manage this today. Can you help with this? Or can we push this off a day or two? In a relationship, I've been doing a lot. Can you help me? I need some time off. I need your help. I need your support. So this is communicating that. It's probably going to be an outlet or sort of like related to what's happening on Wednesday. So you quickly find your footing on Thursday. And part of that is letting go of something. You can't and shouldn't have to do everything all the time. So decide what you really want to focus on. Take the two and make it a one, make it an ace day instead, and say, all right, I'm going to do this and I feel a lot better. So I actually feel like there's a lightening of the load, but you have to decide. And if you don't kind of like let go of that, then it is going to be like this tight wire, and you really don't want that to happen. Okay. Friday looks fantastic. It looks like you've really built up and you've recovered from Wednesday and Thursday. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Card is reversed, but now there's a surprise. This is a really interesting lesson that she's teaching us here in the Nine of Pentacles, which is after kind of coming off the heels of the Two of Pentacles, which was, again, less of a resource issue and more of a how much am I going to continue to do sort of thing. It's really, it's a balance issue than resources. When you say no to something, or when you admit that it's too much, you'll get more than enough help, more than enough resources. Sometimes we have to show that it's not sustainable. And then people step in and say, well, we can't not have this happen. Or your partner comes in and says, well, I don't want you to feel like you aren't supported. Let me give you some more help, some more support. So we have more than enough. You should have a really productive end of the week. Friday looks great. We have like a beautiful daisy or something behind here on this image, which I love. The only thing that's missing on this is the little snail. But I think that we were talking about the cactus and the pacing and all of that stuff. I think the speed picks up by the end of the week, which is why this particular card isn't showing it. All right. So we have a happy ending to the week, which I like, but there are some lessons to be learned. and I think you'll learn them. All right, looking at next Saturday, much better. We have the 10 of Wands, and we have this. This is probably one of my favorite illustrations for the 10 of Wands. This is moving on. So the 10 of Wands is a completion card, and this one really emphasizes the completion of it. We have a scarab beetle at the center. We have a human figure at the center of it, and it's pushing away the wands. Normally, the human figure on a typical 10 of wands would be holding that sort of stack of wood on their back, and it's a lot, right? Going up a hill, looking at the hill, looking back, thinking, ugh, how do I get there? This little beetle is pushing things away, saying, we've got this. We're done. I can see the horizon. So don't give up. You're going to have a really productive Saturday. It's a great day to get out. If you have weather that's conducive to physical activity, I know that there is snow in some parts of the world right now, so it may not, be something that you want to do. But if you can get out, take a walk, get a little bit of sunshine, this is a good day to do that because we see all of this happening there. So get out, enjoy the weather, get a different point of view, and it's a good time to let go of something and set your horizons on something else for the week ahead. As we take a preview to next Sunday, which usually will shift because we're going to read it again next Sunday, it's just a big question mark. We have the unknown here, 8 of Swords. But one of the things that this card is reminding you to do, it's very closely related to the 3 of Swords, because notice how like the hair in this particular person kind of wrapped around all the swords. We see the strings attached here. For me, I'm kind of literally kind of seeing that there is someone that's in your headspace. That heart is connected to this person's head, I believe. And I think that, you could kind of see this could be one of the connections here. So is there someone in your life that knows just how to get under your skin, or that you've been worried about or sad over or pining over? This is the time for you really to focus on this week, cutting some of those cords, releasing some of those thoughts, and reclaiming your mental space. I think it's going to be really important. Making peace with the unknown and ambiguity, always important. We're going to be looking at that as we continue to drill into the next week. As I look at the elements and the blessings and the blocks, we'll get some more clarity. So just don't be afraid of the unknown is the main thing that I would say here as we're looking at that. Okay, so quickly I'm going to look at each of these, and then we're going to go into blessings and blocks, and then we'll do the elements. But as we look at the week ahead, today is just about finding your footing, taking the first step towards something, being patient with yourself. Monday, again, focusing on, does it feel right? Do I want to do it? Expressing yourself is going to be good on Tuesday. I want you to not be afraid to step up and own something. Cutting any sort of conditional love or things that you don't like on Wednesday, really important. Thursday, finding your footing, asking for help. You're going to find the help coming through on Friday. Friday is very productive. Next Saturday, getting out, exploring a little bit, and we're going to be answering this one, which is really, what's coming through. What should I be worried about? Don't be worried about things. Be open to things is what that card is saying. All right, let's take a look at blessings and blocks. I'm going to use an oracle deck for this, and then we'll go into the elemental forecast. All right, blessings and blocks, everyone here. Let's take a look at what the week ahead is bringing forth. So the blessing, the thing to really embrace, we have the inner child energy coming through. What a cute card. All right, so this would be like the sun in a traditional tarot deck, maybe the 6 of Cups, or the Fool. New beginnings and childlike energy. So I want you to really give yourself a chance to have some fun and to birth something too. So if you've been holding and waiting and deciding when is the moment to allow something to come through, right now, this week, I would say is a perfect time for things to come through. So this is a time for release. And it feels like you've been working on something long enough. If you've been holding back and giving all of your time and energy to someone else, I've been saying this a lot lately, but have some fun, play a little bit, connect with an old friend. It's amazing what an hour can do to just sort of completely reset your emotions, completely reset everything in your life. So have some fun. If you're a parent, this could be a time to allocate a little bit more energy to your children. And if you're a child and maybe have been forced to grow up too fast or whatever, this is really about finding that inner child and saying, you know what, I'm still that little girl, that little boy at heart. I'm going to have some fun with this. Okay. So playtime, adult playtime, basically giving yourself a chance to just do something that makes your heart sing, maybe connecting with an old friend, doing something also that maybe you weren't given permission to do before. So this could be, deciding to go back to school, deciding to change career, to love whoever you want to do. Your child, inner child, knows what to do. I believe we come into this planet wise and we know ourselves, and then we're taught to not know ourselves and not believe ourselves. We have intuition, we have strength, we're kind of like perfect, at least energetically. And then there's all these layers that come through. That little child's poking through and saying, remember me? We used to laugh, we used to have fun. So have some fun. All right. Let's take a look now. For the people complaining about weather, get out and have fun. Like I used to live in some snowy places, icy places too. But I remember it was fun to get out and see like a snowfall. I remember that as a kid. I actually loved the rain. We had rain just last week in LA. We actually had a thunderstorm, I think, on Thursday or Friday, and it was loud. Actually, it was this week too. So it was like Monday. But it was amazing. And it was good to smell the ozone. It was great to sort of smell the petrichor and look at the clean streets and everything. So don't let weather give you an excuse to not go out. I don't accept that. It's okay to get out and explore, and you just need to sometimes change up your environment. So you could also go from your house to some other place, but just change up the environment, because kind of getting pent up or kind of closed in is also tough. So let's not give the rain or the snow a bad rap. It can sometimes be nice to experience it. My neighbors and I actually went outside and looked at the thunderstorm and the lightning a little bit. So as a kid, I actually loved the rain. So I'm just going to push back a little bit and say, don't use that as an excuse. All right, let's take a look now at blocks. Yeah, we knew this was coming, didn't we? So the tower is coming through. This was what I was seeing. We're not going to be afraid of the tower. As a reader, I actually get excited sometimes when it comes through. It's necessary change. So you can't avoid the tower. And as long as you, hey, Apollo, as long as you embrace the energy of the tower, I think you're going to be fine. So it's basically just saying, hey, I see the change on the horizon. I know that some structures need to be rebuilt. We're going to be all right. We're going to do it. It's going to be fine. All right. So when we look at sort of the elemental signs, we'll do it through the lens of that, seeing like where the change is coming in for different signs. Okay. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the different elements. And let me just see which deck I want to use for that. I think I'm going to use this deck here. Okay. So let's take a look now at, actually, I'm going to use the Light Seers deck. All right, so Light Seers. Let's take a look at the elements. All right, we're going to begin with, we'll do fire, earth, air, and water, and I'll break it down a little bit as we talk about it. So fire. Fire is going to be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And you got water, which is great. All right, let's take a look at each of these and we'll see what's coming through for you. All right, so again, starting with Aries, Leo, and Sag, we have the 9 of Pentacles for you. So all the fire signs this week. This is great. You came through twice. So I would say Friday is really, really, really good for fire signs, because same energy came through. This is your day. And you actually have the 9 of Pentacles in the upright position here, which I love. Look at I believe it's a falcon or an owl falcon, I think. But there's this messenger coming through for you. And also, if this is the receipt of your request for help. It could also be good news. But I'm looking at this and I'm seeing for you abundance. The one thing that I didn't cover, which is coming through now, it always helps me to see a different illustration sometimes. For everybody on Friday, don't be afraid to accept help. Asking for help is one thing. Not asking for help is another, but there may be someone that comes in and gives you a helping hand or wants to lend a helping hand. This card can be fiercely independent. Like, I got it. I'm fine. Don't worry. But remember what we just saw on Thursday. Why not accept some help? And maybe this will open you up to be even more productive and get to the 10 of Pentacles moment where you have like an epiphany, where you're much more productive. So I want you to really think about letting go of some stuff that you're doing maybe unnecessarily, maybe just because it feels like I have to keep doing this, etc. This card is coming through saying, nah, it's okay. You've got a lot of help, a lot of opportunities. Be discerning and also be open. When it comes to money, this is a great card. The only thing, again, can be a little bit of stubbornness coming through. Not totally surprised this is coming through for fire. So I just want you to be open, okay? I think it's a really great time to take action on products and projects. And in relationships here, again, it's opening up to partnership because this can be a very independent card. But by and large, I really like what I see for you for the week ahead. So take a look and think, where am I getting what I need to, and where am I not with respect to the different things that you're kind of doing project-wise and then also relationship-wise, because you're gonna have a great week. All right. Let's take a look now at the Earth signs. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Planning. It's a great time for planning, and things may happen quicker than you think or in a way that you didn't anticipate. So this is a very Capricorn card to come through, actually, for those of you that are Capricorn. I would say the same for Virgo because you want things organized. Taurus, you want structure. You want to be able to predict things. You're in your headspace a lot. This makes a lot of sense. So what I want you to do is to figure out, all right, this is what I want. This is like when I like it to happen, but I'm also open to being happily surprised. What if it happens sooner? What if the way that it happened wasn't what I thought? What if you're trying to manifest a partner, what if my partner surpasses my expectations? All of this and more, maybe sooner, maybe in a really cool way that it's sort of like a surprise party. Think of it that way. Because if you are too rigid, which all three of you can be, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, you'll miss something. So I love that you plan. As you know, I have placements with all three of these actually. So I love Earth. Don't worry about it. But my ascendant is actually Capricorn and my moon is Taurus. Virgo, I have to look at where it's at in my chart. I spaced out for a second here. I think it's actually my Venus. It's Venus. So anyway, I like to know what's going on with stuff for sure. That's why I have my scheduling and all this stuff out. But I have to be open sometimes too. So do you. So you may have everything neatly tied up and planned out but something could come in that completely throws it into a tailspin for the better. This could be someone saying, hey, we got your application. We'd like you to start next week. And you were hoping it would be 2 weeks from now. You may be able to get out of your old job, or maybe you can just rearrange things so that you can get started. It could be someone that likes you and wants to go out tomorrow or something like that. It could be good news. An apartment that you've been looking for is available now, but you're going to have to reorganize your lease. Something good could happen, but faster. And that's going to stress out your sort of like organized heart. So this stress that we're seeing midweek for the Earth signs could just be, I can't control this, but it might be good news. So just let go of stuff. Okay. Good surprises. Let's move on to air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Some good news with respect to people in your life. It feels like people want to be around you. Three of Cups I like. It's typically a celebratory card. When the card is reversed as it is here, there could be this feeling of, oh my goodness, I just need some time to myself. Or for those of you that might be dipping your toe back into the dating pool, maybe you're divorced, maybe you're retired, maybe you're single, happy, and didn't want to be with someone, but all of a sudden, again, maybe some good stuff's happening even for this particular element. What you have to just be open to is like, all right, let's see how this feels. This is kind of hermited energy when it's reversed, but it's chosen, not necessary. So for some of you, you need to take a day off or a couple days off, and that's fine. But I do think there are some invitations worth accepting. I do think that there are some meetings worth taking, and you have a lot of really great positive energy bubbling up around you. So take your personal time, get your head where it needs to be, and then just trust your heart. Hard for air signs. Air signs tend to overthink as well, or could be distracted on a lot of other things. Again, I say that with love because I'm Libra, but you have to sort of like just be open. So don't overthink. And I really do feel like there could be an unexpected, person coming into your life, an old friend, maybe your neighbor's really chatty. Maybe there's something that's coming on, but what I like with this is we have 9 of Pentacles towards the end of the week. So this could lead to an opportunity. It doesn't have to be love, but it's worth saying yes and talking to people, maybe even taking the initiative. If you're usually waiting for people to talk to you, send a text to someone that you're thinking about. You might be surprised at what comes through with that. Overall, I like this. There is a gentle note of moderation. So if you have been just working too hard or partying too much or eating or drinking too much, take it easy on yourself. It is worth taking a few nights and just spending them in and relaxing, okay? So balancing it out, because again, especially for the Libra portion of the air signs, you need to have a little bit of both. You need to have rest, you need to have fun. But I would say it works for all the air signs too. Just make sure you find your balance. All right, moving on to water, we have the moon. I'm happy that the moon came up for water. The thing to remember with this is that let's look at the positive aspects of the moon, and then I'll talk about this illustration. The positive aspects of the moon, it tells me that you're really, really in touch with how you feel. And you know, on a instinctive level, and I would also say like on an intuitive level, yes, the yes or no. You'll get the immediate, should I do this or should I not? If you trust it, the card is upright, you'll be fine. Primal knowledge is coming through loud and clear. Divine feminine energy is coming through with this card. So you have the capacity to inspire others around you. You can really, if you are an artist, get some great work channeled and done, which I like. In relationships, this is where the card gets trickier. This is where the two of you or more, if it's more like a work situation, know that there's some stuff that you need to deal with, but you might be afraid. What if I say this and step on their toes? What if I say this and it gets out, etc.? So what we see with this is really the understanding that it's okay to walk that middle line, find a way to connect, and you're going to be all right. As long as you stick with the truth, as long as you talk about hopes and fears and what's obvious, you're going to be fine. There may be a revelation. So that tricky piece that I talked about looks like it applies most to the water signs. So if there's something that you're avoiding and you hope that it just goes away, it won't. If you're hoping that someone won't see you on a day off, or if you're going out or if you're driving through their town, you better just own up and say, this is what's going on, or I don't have time to see, or whatever it is, because it'll come out one way, shape, or form. So be honest, be in the light. The moon reveals. So you'll get a lot of clarity this week, but you can't hide. So water signs, you have to be honest and you have to find that strength and that energy to talk about things. All right. Overall, nothing really scary here. The tower is touching all of us. We're in a retrograde. The retrograde will continue until October 17th. I think October 18th is when we're out of it. I have my little note to the side here. So I just want to make sure. Yeah, October 17th is when it's done. So I think that you're going to be just fine. This is basically one of the last weeks that we'll be dealing with a lot of the changes. So it's good that the tower came through and we're on to better days, right? Amen. I can't wait until next weekend when we're not focusing as much on this. We'll be in the shadow looking at the next week ahead. Okay, so that is the main sort of weekly forecast. As I look at this, I want to throw out maybe one or two questions for you to vote on. So we're going to do a mini poll here. I know that if you don't know, by the way, that the special topic every week is chosen by all of you, but I also like to do live polls as I'm doing this. So let's take a look at some of these messages real quick before we get into the special topic, and the rest of this reading will be the special topic. But let's look at today's special, viewer's choice poll. So give me a second just to get this going. So we're going to do a viewer's choice. For any of you that happen to be watching this on a mobile device or the web, you can do this easily. If you're watching on a TV, you can't, but just trust. I think everyone will be here. So one thing that I like is the child picture here. So finding and honoring the inner child. So let's look at messages from the inner child. I also want to look at the tower. I've had this as a thing that you guys can vote on. Maybe next week it'll make it. If not, I might take it out for a little bit. But let's look at messages from the tower and like where to change. And then let's look at one last one here. So I want to look a little bit at the Three of Swords as well. I like to go for all the tricky cards if I can. So I'm going to say Three of Swords, healing and releasing. Okay, so there we go. Let's make sure everything is here. Oh, I think I have one character too many. Healing and releasing. Hopefully that will work. Okay, looking good. I'm going to ask the question now and shuffle while you guys are looking at it. And let's see. I might do one more while I'm waiting for you, just to give you a moment or two to vote. So while you're voting on that, let's look. I'm going to fast forward to the Eight of Swords for a moment. So I'll do one soul path question while you're voting. The soul path question is going to be dealing with ambiguity. So dealing with the unknown. So you have a lot of support. We have the Ten of Pentacles card in reverse. The Ten of Pentacles is telling me that there's more than enough, but I think a lot of you have this tendency to either overachieve or really want the support, or I guess even I would say, what's the best word here? The approval. That's the word. You're looking for the approval from other people in your life. And this one's telling me that you don't need it. It's nice to have, but like that inner child, which was coming through, is saying, have some fun, do what you need to do. We have like a hidden, we have the tree of life here, but then we also have this big ace in the sky. So focus on what your core dream, your core hope is, and really focus on manifesting that. Okay. All right, I'm going to end the poll now. I'm so happy you chose the Tower because that's what I would have looked at too. So let's take a look at the Tower and see what the messages are. Pretty sure that's it. I'll shuffle while it finalizes the poll. But let's see here. Yes, by about 53%, a clear winner. We have messages from the Tower. What's the change? What do we need to focus on? How do we not fear the Tower? All right, so we have the Five of Cups in reverse. In this particular deck, it mirrors the Magician card because in this particular deck, you would see the Magician in front of this swirling sort of magical pool of energy. So what we see here is someone that has let go of some things, but now has, I always like to mention the hidden Two of Cups and the Five of Cups. So she's at this moment of understanding like, okay, I've lost this. It didn't work out the way that I wanted, but guess what? What has fallen away has given me clear knowledge of who I can depend on, what I'm really passionate about, what's important. So loss, separation, change, it always involves a little bit of mourning, a little bit of reconfiguration, recalibration, but ultimately it leaves you with a blessing of knowledge and a clarity of what to focus on. So some of you are prioritizing relationships because of the Two of Cups and that's hidden in this. Some of you are prioritizing the passion that I was just hitting on here. What do I really want to do? This wasn't it. What do I really want to do? Why did I allow myself to get into this? So you're going to leave with this clear sense of who you are and what you want. And also realizing that things are as good or as bad as you're willing to make them. So if you only focus on, as this card falls on the floor, on what's been lost, then that starts to basically sum up who you are. So focus instead on what you can kind of create in your life. All right. So some beautiful messages actually this week, and the Tower only came through as a sort of umbrella energy. I expected it to because we're wrapping up retrograde. Thank goodness, right? Went faster than the last one. So, all right, let's move on. We're getting into the special topic now, the Magician. I was just kind of talking about the Magician there. So what we're going to be looking at next is the Magician and how you can find your inner hidden strength, actually. And I think a lot of you are going to benefit from this because it will help you figure out what to focus on. All right. So I'm going to turn the camera down now. I'm going to focus now on really just channeling how we can find our strength, how we can focus on what's important. And let's see what the messages are. Again, if you've never attended a collective, everybody here is receiving messages. So it's for the collective that showed up or watches it on replay. We're looking at hidden strengths, hidden powers, hidden opportunities. For those of you that have been soul searching and trying to think like, what can I do? Who am I? This is you. Okay. Enough shuffling. Let's take a look at the cards. This one actually wants to be 2, so I'll let it. We just had, I'm laughing because not the toad, but we had a frog come through this month as one of the totems. It's actually a surprisingly good totem. Gets a bad rap. All right, let's take a look at everything here. And again, it's all through the lens of understanding yourself and finding areas where you have strength and maybe you didn't know that you did. So let me just move these cards to the side so that I have more room to navigate here. And let's look at what's going on. All right, so your catalyst this month is a trader card here, and it says exchange energy to create abundance. So for some of you, when we were talking about like that Two of Pentacles energy that was showing up right around Thursday of the week ahead, this is really going to be a chance for maybe you to work with somebody and to decide like, okay, I may not have all the money or the resources to make something happen, but maybe we can work out an agreement where we can give and we can take and we can kind of like figure out the happy medium here. So there could be an exchange of goods and services happening. Some of you are going to decide to maybe go into business for yourself. And we're looking at your hidden strengths. You have the ability to barter, to sell. This would be really good for folks that want to get into a sales path, maybe real estate, working at even just, again, if you're going to have your own business, you're going to have to learn about sales and marketing. So one of your hidden strengths could be this ability to get people to want to buy or to exchange or to kind of like do something with commerce here. So I like that. I like that a lot. As an artisan, you may also have something that's unique enough to be sold. So maybe you're a painter or a musician or a writer or a composer, or you're an architect. All of these things are different ways of expressing that. So go to your inner builder, and there's something there that's of worth for those of you that makes sense. And for the rest of you, it's really just saying, hey, lean on those business or those commerce skills because you're shining right now as we're looking at not just the week ahead, but when I do this portion with the Celtic cross, it usually goes to like a month or two. So this is something that will help you. As I do all of these little topics, special topics each month, it gives us different windows of things that we can be looking at, okay? The center card here is a recovery card. So we have the Seven of Pentacles. We have someone a little bit shy after this sort of like recovery is happening. So what I like to remind folks with the Seven of Pentacles is, progress happens slowly. That's why I always focus on the snail and the Nine of Pentacles. And the important things for you to kind of realize right now is that you're on the other side or you're learning the lessons. With Seven of Pentacles, particularly since it's reversed and also since we're still in a Mercury retrograde right now, there's always a little bit of shadow energy with that card. So and maybe some of you are very fortunate and haven't had sort of issues with finances or just made mistakes before, but I think all of us have made at least one mistake. When we recover from that mistake, especially if resources were involved with it, there is this tendency to think, why did I do it? How much time did I waste doing that? Will it happen again? These are shadow type energies that can kind of push you down. When you've come to the other side and you've learned your lessons, there can be fear that steps in. Is this temporary? Will it happen again? So we're going to let go of all the fears. You're on the road to doing better, being better, getting better. You've learned from that. And because you've learned from that, it won't happen again. So your hidden strength here actually is your resilience, just like the cactus, which is why the cactus came through. So you can basically, just like it has to sort of contract and shrink depending on how much it has or how little it has, you can do the same. And you're learning now to grow. You're learning to expand. We're going into the expansive portion. Okay. So resilience and this sort of management energy of being able to sort of figure out how to make it work, how to make it last. Okay. And then we have the Nine of Wands, one of my favorite cards here because it shows, again, that go get 'em attitude. Now, with this, however, there's a couple of notes here. First of all, some of you just need to take care of yourself and make sure that you're not pushing yourself to the point of fatigue, exhaustion, or maybe even something like migraines or headaches. This card can often be associated with pushing so hard that the body takes a little bit of a hit. So manage your body resources too and figure out like, okay, as we age, as we recover from injuries, because we did have a recovery card at the center, we can't always do the same things in the same way. So adjust and adapt. The good news with this card is anything that you set your mind to during this period, the next month or so, definitely the next week, I feel like you're in a very good place to finish it, to complete it. okay? I'm laughing at Apollo stretching in the background. You might have to do just like he did, kind of take a moment to stretch, to sort of look at things from a higher perspective and know that it's all right. This is resilience. This is pushing this, both of these cards. So we have, you can survive, you can come back. And this also tells me you can push through. The glass had to break in my dream in order to allow for healing to happen. So for some of you, this is pushing through. Like, I'm not going to give up. I've come this far. I'm not going to give up now. Okay. The one thing you want to really be aware of and really focus on reining in a little bit is the wandering thoughts. So I love Seven of Cups. It's important for being able to brainstorm, to understand new things, to explore. When the card is reversed, we can sometimes get lost in our thoughts. And there is sort of like a prompt from the universe asking you, what do you want to do? Where is all this leading to? Sometimes I've asked friends or clients, like, what's your goal? They'll say, in what? I mean, like in life, what are you doing? What's this all about? And usually that's when the crickets come in or they panic a little bit. So I want you to know two things. What are you trying to do on a planetary level? Like, what's this lifetime about? And then also, what are you trying to do with the current thing that you're focusing on? We want to see an alignment or at least an overlap. It's perfect if the two are 100% aligned, but usually there's a degree of alignment. So just like a Venn diagram, the more we can smush in that center portion, the better. And the more you know what you want to do, the less you're kind of like spinning around and hoping for something to kind of make sense. So clarification is ever so important right now. Okay. And a decision, like picking a swim lane and saying, this is what I'm going to do. All right. I'm glad that you're able to ideate, to brainstorm. But what we're looking at right now, your hidden strength or your hidden opportunity, I would say right now, is maybe helping get everyone on the same page. There was this funny commercial once where this person was trying to herd like kitty cats. All these cats were on a hill and there was a cat herder. So sometimes when you're working with a family or a group of people, they're like a bunch of independent cats going in different directions. It's hard to get it together. So you're going to have to be strong and lead with authority if that's the case. All right. Next, I'm really happy here with the Eight of Wands. This is Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is coming through. No, it is the Eight of Wands. Yay. Okay. Because she's not holding it back. So the Eight of Wands, you don't want to get lost in the shuffle. So one thing that's missing on the illustration, there's only a few decks that actually show the community. I think, let's see, the Little Prince shows it, and there's like one other deck that I have, but not many decks will show other people in the spread. I actually think the Wildwood deck might have a community card on this too. But you're not alone. You are not alone. There's a lot of people around you that can help you out, and you don't have to do everything just because you can do everything. Seven of Wands, which would have been more convenient here, would have told me to tell you just to sort of like push back. But with this, we see someone in the middle of everything, not losing their pacing, not losing their footing. The important thing for you to do is just that. You've got a lot going on. You don't have time to get distracted. And even though it's the 8 and not the 7, you still have the ability to delegate. Wands is a fabulous, for me, it's my favorite suit to read for, because you can go up and down, and there's not really many bad cards in Wands. They're all pretty good. So you can always decide to do a little less or a little bit more based on what's important, and it will help you. You could go, if you do a lot less actually, and focus on the quality, it will bring you to the 6 of Wands, which is success. If you bring in more help and get it all done faster, it's 10 of Wands, which is getting you over the hump. So Wands is great. It's flexible. You're not stuck. You're not stuck in the middle. And that's the main message with this. Okay. If you have a business, or if you're just trying to create a cycle of abundance, remember I said the cactus is a magnet for like pollinators. So you're attracting a lot around you. Your challenge is to keep it going and to not lose the pacing. So either scale up or down as needed to make sure that the quality is there and that you can keep up with it. So there you go. This kind of goes into the next piece here. These are the two most important cards. They stuck together, and the special topic is hidden strengths. Leadership, easy with the Emperor. Leadership, being able to regain, claim, balance out control issues. The one that is a truly hidden strength, though, for some of you is the the creative side or the instinctual side or the gut sort of side where you're like, I feel like this is really what I want to do. So you're good at leading, you're good at sort of traditional stuff, but there's this latent skill that wants to come up, which is, but I'm also kind of artistic. I'm also kind of intuitive. I also have this ability to feel things out. So I feel like if you can marry your leadership with your creativity, you're going to truly start to blossom. And it's hard because in traditional sort of jobs and families and societies, so basically people just want cookie cutter sort of leadership roles. So it might be lawyer, doctor, whatever. Those are the ones that everyone gets kind of pushed into. But there's so much more. The world is so much more complex, and we have a lot of those too. Let's focus on teachers. Let's focus on healers. Let's focus on artists. And maybe you can be one of the leads in those areas. So I want you to lead the charge that your heart feels connected to, not what mom and dad said, not what teacher said, not what brother, sister, or your partner is pushing you to do. You really got to feel it. If you don't feel it, you can do it, but you're never going to be as successful as you could be if you did something that you really wanted to do. And we came to this planet, not just the titles don't go with us. The money sure as heck doesn't go with us. The experiences, the memories that we build, the love that we experience, and the soul lessons that we are able to sort of like heal and discover, that goes with you. That sticks with you for eternity. So no one's going to care 3 lifetimes from now if you were a doctor and you didn't want to be, or a lawyer and you didn't want to be. But if you were and you were able to help people and that was part of your path, great. But if you did it and you were unhappy, then your soul didn't grow. It's kind of like the cactus that stops breathing because it's too hot and it has to conserve energy and resources. You won't grow anymore. You'll do well. But so I want you to be able to reach out and grow. Find an area of your life where that little girl, where was she over here, came through and basically said, I want to have some fun, because our 2 blessings and blocks card here. If you have fun, the transformation comes through. That's really what these 2 were saying. Okay. Near future, we have Temperance. I believe Temperance was in the 7-day forecast as well. I believe it was today. So the near future, what we're looking at right now is taking that first step, knowing that you're not an island, you're not alone on this. This card was also reversed for today. So some of you are impatient, which is why we got the symbol of patience and slow growth, the cactus coming through. So don't be impatient, trust, and then play with the universe. This is why the little girl came through. What you want to do with the universe is, instead of thinking, why hasn't it happened? Why do I always have to wait? Why won't this? Say, what if it happens sooner? What if I'm surprised? I'm totally ready for that. Show me, universe. I'm open to that. What if it actually works out and I get my happy ending or whatever? That's what I want you to do, is to what if the positive. You can use the critical side, the negative, quote unquote negative, to help you plan for, unexpected things. But I also want you to plan for positive surprises too, okay? Just like the air signs got this 3 of Cups reversed, you're getting it. We're going to have similar energies because everyone's watching, which is why I'm starting to do collectives. We're all experiencing the same things. So when people want to know how this works, I'm like, didn't the sun rise and set for all of us? Didn't we experience the weather associated with that? Isn't the weather moving across the earth in a certain pattern? We're all feeling like a ricochet effect of what's going on. So everybody, to some degree right now, this is representing self, is pulling back a little bit. If you're in a relationship, there's this opportunity to rekindle a spark. If you're in an office situation, or if you're planning on putting something out there to the world, there's an opportunity to show a little bit more of yourself. So there's this retraction, or this hermiting energy, or this protective energy, like the spines of a cactus that's coming out. But really what we want to do is put the heart out there, is to spend some time and celebrate and go forth into that sort of creative energy. So one common theme, because most of the cards here on the right-hand side are cups. We have a lot here, 9 of Cups and 8 of Cups coming up. So there's a lot of important energy here associated with this and other people. So the more you can share your passion with others, the more you can get involved with things that you like, the more successful you're going to be. If you're an independent business person, or even a traditional business person, looking at things like seminars and podcasts and ways to disseminate things into smaller groups is going to also be really important and pivotal. Okay. Here's what's environmentally happening. Guess what? Two of Pentacles. Again, we're getting a lot of the same energy in this main spread. So with the Two of Pentacles for you, it's a warning and an encouragement. You've done a fabulous job, many of you, making other people happy. You've done a great job of worrying about what other people thought. You've done a great job of doing too much, but you don't have to do that anymore. Some of you could do a little bit better when it comes to finances and time management as a critical piece. But overall, there's a hidden ace in this card. If she just lets go of something and focuses on one, then she can actually make things happen. If she asks for help or finds another resource, she's the Three of Pentacles, and suddenly there's growth and recognition. You're just one away from solid. So you have to either ask for help or let go of something. Make it an ace or make it a Three of Pentacles. And that's the goal right now. So right now it has to be one of those two things. I'm going to let go and focus, or I'm going to bring in help, and together we're going to do more. So there's a partnership energy coming through. Okay. Looking now at possibilities here, we have the lovely Nine of Cups card. She's really balanced in this particular deck, and it's almost like she's learned the lesson of the Hanged Man. She's come back and she's like, I'm patient now, I'm ready now, I'm celebrating the positive, and I'm not going to let someone or something take away my balance. The card was reversed. So for many of you this month, I want you to give yourself permission to experience joy and happiness. I want you to disregard one person's negative comment if the majority is positive. So if you're doing your best in life, most of the people around you support you, but you have like one person that said something that got under your skin, it says more about the one person than you. If you have 10 people saying something, then you got to work on yourself. But if it's just one person, we're always going to have a negative comment. For those of us on social media, trust me, I see it pops up on my phone and I'm like, really? Clear. I don't need that right now. But I don't focus too much on it. So don't engage. That's one thing that I don't do. If someone's really negative, I just don't engage. Don't have time for that. So move on. It's not worth it. We have friends in real life that will say something like that. I had a conversation with someone recently and they just kind of made a remark about like what I do for a living. And I'm like, I just let it go. But I thought to myself, that person isn't truly in my corner and they have some issues with themselves. And you learn from that. You think, okay, but it's not worth having an argument sometimes. So I want you to celebrate and focus on the silver lining. Who is in your court? What in your life is bringing joy? What can you practice in gratitude and thinking, you know what, I'm so grateful. Maybe you've had some recovery, like recovery from financial or a physical sort of, setback. So if you're suddenly kind of getting better from an illness, or if your finances are in a really great place, or if you've been trying to build something that's finally just coming into fruition, that's something to be celebratory about every day. Also the little things. Can you breathe? Can you walk? Can you think? Can you take care of yourself? Basic human things. If you can do any one of those, that's a prayer of gratitude today. If you can do all of those, you have a lot of gratitude to give to the universe. The more you say thanks, even as I say it, my crown opens up. The universe is like, you forgot about those things, didn't you? So thank you, universe, for allowing me to walk, to breathe, to think, to love, to eat, to do this for myself, to have the ability to walk my dog. All of those little things. Practice gratitude. It will help you. When you do it, you attract it. So you have a lot to be grateful for, and you have a lot more to come in if you can connect to that gratitude. All right. Finally, we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is fantastic because this is really allowing you to take the necessary leave if you need to from something. This has come up so much during retrograde. It feels like it's the poster child, this retrograde. So I think that one of the things that we want to look at is some of you aren't ready to make a clean break from something. So maybe you're very attached to a job, to a title, to a place that you're living, to anything in your life. And you're like understanding that you need to move, but also aware that you might want to have one foot in, one foot out, just like temperance. So what the Eight of Cups allows you to do is to express interest in something different than what you're doing. In the True Heart Intuitive deck, what I've noticed is she has it kind of going around Jupiter, this stairwell from Jupiter. So we know that when we move towards something new, it creates expansion. But we know that sometimes we're not ready to kind of like look over our shoulder and say goodbye to something. So I want you to focus on that stairway to expansion. We also have a nice desert theme today going on in some of these cards here. So this is very much connected with that cactus. I just imagine that she's going to the oasis in this particular card. So what are you willing to let go of? What do you want to walk toward? The sooner you know that, the sooner you can make peace with understanding that one end is not the end. It opens up a new beginning. So you are at a precipice right now. We're going to go into the expanded forecast, but when I'm looking at what the big opportunity here is, and it probably is the big idea for you, is the leadership with heart, and connecting to that passion. So if you can really get into that creative side of your leadership or the commerce side, if whatever it is here, you're going to start to see a nice return on that. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny through the lens of opportunity, through the lens of what your hidden talent or skill is. When we're looking at, some of you are really, really good at reading people. We see this X marks the spot and it says, see the love in disguise. I would also just say like, see anything in disguise here. So for some of you, your intuition, getting back into the magician energy, that's really what this is about. So you may decide to go down that path of healing, of helping. All of you that are watching, however, have the discerning energy here that X marks the spot. So you can use your intuition in business to spot a good idea from a bad one, to spot a employee that is really all in from one that might be engaged in Seven of Swords energy, etc. So that laser focus, that laser ability to, like Superman had eyes that could see through things, right? You have the same energy. How are you going to use it? Do you want to be intuitive? I mean, we're all intuitive. Do you want to use it as like a proper intuitive? Do you want to, use it to heal people, coach people? Do you want to use it in business? Do you want to help the world and change policies and laws and things like that? How are you going to use your X-ray vision? It's really what this is coming through. And it's a health card, which to me would say, this will make you feel better. This will help you see things also in your life that you need to change and help others. It's very coaching energy that's associated with this particular one. All right. So we're just going to focus. I don't really need to look so much on the other cards here. This one says enough. I mean, in the tarot cards here, when I'm looking at general health things, we talked about limits and balance and not letting people take away your balance emotionally. I think that's the key thing as we're looking at all three of these: Three of Cups, Two of Pentacles, and the Nine of Cups. Not going all in, not going overboard. That's going to be key. But the big magician opportunity is the laser focus, the see-through sort of vision where you can, this is what the third eye does. So I'm at a point now where I can kind of tell if someone is not interested in like doing things with me, or if someone's trying to hide something. I can't see everything, but I can see the core. I'm like, this is what it's about. So as you start to open up your third eye, you'll be able to just get the big picture, like a download. This is worth my time. This isn't worth my time. This person's being honest, or they're hiding a lot. You don't have to even go into what they're hiding. It's enough to know that there's something there. So use your skill and figure it out. But that's a big gift. And that's why the Magician won today, because it is a very sort of intuitive energy. And I feel like a lot of you that tuned in today are just that intuitive. Guess what? You're also, when we're looking at specifically how this applies to your career, you're not a one-trick pony. We need better words for these things. Or you're a jack of all trades, and that's basically what this is. So shape-shifting, clouds. So this is particularly for my air signs out there too. The ability to kind of go and see things from that bird-eye view, that's going to be great. But the shape-shifting piece tells me that the most important thing for you is, can you see yourself as what it is that you want to be? In my book, I wrote about, I thought death would be a shapeshifter, and in its mind, it would create the form that it wanted, and then it would become that form. And I had the main character who was a psychic get in its head once, and Gabriel could see how basically transformation would see what it wanted to be, or believe that it would be that, and then it would become that. We're not that different from transformation. So we have the ability, but we have to see it. The Two of Wands energy that I was picking up earlier for, can't remember which sign it was, but the Two of Wands was really, I think it was, yes, it was Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, because I remember talking about that. You need to be able to see it, but then you also need to be able to adjust, because you need to keep shifting. So people are already seeing you in a different perspective. You have the ability to change who you are. Sometimes a move is required. Sometimes we need to move from an old town or an old business or an old school, because they won't let us shift. So you can shift and become and reinvent. When I was younger and I moved cross country, that's what I did. And it was a great experience because nobody knew me. And I moved a few times even within California. And each time I moved, I was like, this is a fresh start. Each new company, you had no baggage. You were the fool. It was a great thing to do. So you may need to embrace the fool energy to shift into your new you. Okay? All of this is leading toward the relationship growth card here that we see here. So this is toadstools. That makes me laugh. But it's about growth. And when we're looking at a toad or frog, they can take big leaps, right? And they are very agile at doing that. So what I see here is that growth is not an if, it's a when for you. And it's just when you're ready. And the important thing for you is to understand that you can take that leap of faith, and that growth will happen sooner than later. You may need to leap away from certain people or leap toward someone. So maybe there's a mentor, a teacher, or a location or a school that magnetizes and kind of like brings you the energy that you need. Leap towards that. Maybe there's some crazy people that are trying to hold you back or won't let you go where you need to. You're going to leap away from that. So you're either going toward or away from something. But the main thing here is movement toward or away from the people that you need in your life. And there are people that are ready to celebrate and embrace who you are, but you just might have to shift locality for that to happen. Location, geography. And we have rainbow blessings here at the very end, and it says blessings are showering your life. This is your destiny card. It means that, we have the recovery card at the center here, the Seven of Pentacles. Whatever you've been through, it's actually ensuring or giving you the foundation to have this happy ending. The Tower has to crumble first for some of you in order to build a stronger foundation. This is a very serene looking tower. So let's assume this is fallen and been rebuilt. So that's what awaits you, is that a chance to sort of rebuild. There is no such thing as an ending. There is just a chance to figure out what's next. We're constantly moving until we take our last breath. We are capable of growth, of change, of movement until the very last day. The big idea for the Magician. Let's pull a final card and see if we can sum it up in a single card. Hidden strength. All right, so don't hold back. We have the Four of Pentacles, which is foundational, but there is a message with this sometimes that we are too attached to the practical. We are too attached to thinking that I have to see it, I have to know it, and if I don't, it won't be there. So your hidden strength, if we're going to really pull this into the positive, is hope, faith, and vision. You see it before you see it. You feel it before others do, and you never lose connection with that. If you can do that, if you don't have it yet, that's your key. That would be the skeleton key to make this happen. Hope, faith, vision. I believe it, I know it, I'll do it, it's happening. That's the most important thing. And if you combine that with passion and leadership, you're going to be fine. All right. So hope, faith, vision. Got to have those. Don't say no to people that are willing to help you. They're coming in for a reason. Don't underestimate your ability to be a great salesperson. Sometimes we don't see ourselves as that because you think that it only comes in one shape or form. It isn't. You have the ability to really get people behind something. And the sales or marketing piece could also be pushed towards something like change on the planet, trying to help the environment or change policies or laws or things like that. So you clearly have the energy of change and the energy of hope and vision as part of your overall message today. If you're ready to do it, some exciting things are happening. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you enjoyed this portion. So we're going to meditate now. And then I would like to, at the very end, pull a final card. The final card will be something that I haven't answered for you yet. Or if you've come up with an idea, which I hope you have, because each of you, it's going to be a little bit different in what your strength is. Ask about it during the final card. So we're going to quickly meditate using a crystal pyramid. The meditation will take about 2 minutes. While I'm doing that, before I do that, I'd actually like you to take a moment to write down your question for me. You're not going to type it out. You're going to meditate. It's a little different than some channels. And then we're going to take a look at your question. All right. If you haven't already done so, before you meditate and go out into outer space, hit the subscribe button if you've never subscribed, and the thumbs up if you haven't liked this video yet. All right. Let me get set up here, and we're going to focus on clearing your energy. For the meditation today, what I'd really like you to do is to imagine that you are I see a volcano for this one as well. I've done that before. So imagine that you are at right at the seat of a volcano. Maybe it's a dormant one, but you can feel the energy within the volcano. And I want you today to sort of like connect with that sort of core passion and feel like I can feel the fire within me starting to build up, and I want to start to do something with that. Imagine like you're the god Hephaestus or Vulcan, who would take things and mold them. You could take the fire, take the energy, and create. What are you trying to create in your life? Imagine that you have the ability to do that. If the fire scares you a little bit, imagine that you are at you're basically like a potter, and you're able to kind of mold clay. So imagine, what would you build with your newfound passion and clarity? Let's focus on that for a minute or two, and then I'll answer your final question. When you're ready, take a deep breath. Whether you've built your vision with clay, sand, or with rock, I want you to imagine that whatever it is that you're envisioning not only can happen, but will. Keep the fire of hope, keep the fire of this vision that you have in your heart alive each and every day, and allow that to be a deciding factor as you navigate new opportunities, as you look at things that you would like to explore in your life. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, and let's take a look at your final question. So if you wrote it down, you can pull that paper in front of you. If you haven't, then I just want you to think about what it is that you would like some additional clarity on, okay? It's a great card for your final question here. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, the card was reversed, but an ace is a very auspicious symbol. So as a yes/no symbol, this would be a yes, or yes/no question would be a yes. The one thing that I want you to do is to make sure that what you're getting out of whatever it is that you're asking about is equal, because one of the key things that we've been talking about was that sort of equilibrium. More than once, we've gotten the Two of Pentacles coming through. And even in the Nine of Cups, which is a passion card, we have the balance, trying not to lose your cool. So we need to make sure that new opportunities are very much, at least 50-50, or that there's something beneficial coming through for this. Some of you are being also kind of like guided, I would say, to give. And so if you're in a place where you can give, this is definitely a yes. Or if there's something that you want to release, it's also a yes. You just have to make sure that it feels good. As an investment card in oneself, you would get an A+ on this as well. So if you're thinking of going back to school, or taking more of a sort of paying more attention to your physical health or anything like that, investing in yourself in some way, this is fine too. The only thing that I would say in a contract, if you're signing on the dotted line and there's money associated with it, there's something off a little bit. You want to make sure that you are getting what you need, that you're not signing up for something with too many stipulations, too many strings attached. Generally speaking, it's good. If you've been looking a long time for something, it's coming through, but it may not meet your traditional expectations. Something about it is unique or unusual. So open yourself up again for a happy surprise, or for being open-minded to how something is going to look or be in your life. All right. Overall, a really good card. And there's nothing on that one that I would say is really sort of shadow energy. It's very positive. Okay. All right. So that is just about everything today. Just a couple of quick notes before we wrap up. I will say thanks to everybody that was able to kind of give back today, but I'd like to share with you my schedule. So for those of you that are new, I always post my schedule. There's a link to my schedule, and you can see what's coming up next. And just to kind of give you the weekly recap of what's coming up, I'll be doing Leo on Monday the 11th, Virgo on October 14th, and Libra on October 15th. We'll have another collective next weekend. You can see the full schedule on all the upcoming videos there. We're in October, so all of my October forecasts are already up. I'm reading ahead for November. I always like to work 1 month in advance. So for some of you, you'll be able to watch both. For the rest, you can see when that's coming up. Again, we're really close to a milestone. So if you haven't hit subscribe, please do that. Thumbs up if you can. And I talked about my book a little bit. You can see a cover of it there behind me. It's also on my website. You can just click on the pinned link and go to nicholasashbaugh.com. And there's a little buy my book button. You can find out more there. Very much like Dune or Lord of the Rings. So if you like a long epic story, great. If not, just show up for these and we'll have lots of fun stuff to talk about. All right, let me just say thanks to everybody that was here today and gave back a little bit. I have my tabs open. I just have to refresh them. So for the new, let's see, I think we have some new, well, I'll do the stickers first and then I'll see if I can see any of the new channel members. So just put on my glasses for this. We have a lot, so I'll try to move through it pretty swiftly here, but I just want to say thank you. At the very beginning, I know that Lydia gave back, so thank you, Lydia, for kicking everything off. And here are the rest of the people that gave back. So Current Creative, AB, Regina, Robin, Kyle Jewell, Annette Maines, Glennis Fernandez, Penelope Palm, Wendy Wright, JC, Chiyoko, I think it's Pecho, Keo2242, Tamilian66, Terry Brugman. Thank you, Pat. I noticed you did it a couple times in a row there. Christina de MS, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce the last name. Rose Miller, AW, Miss Moses, Kathy Aaron, Megan Clark, Emma Sharp. Let's see, Cardio AK. Or Cardiac, Dominique Sheila Nagpal, Lorna Smith, Trishan, Parul, Aaron, Tishay B336 Tarot, hello again, Cheryl Xenoverse 2020, Ella Rose, Cass, Elisa, Isabella, Kelly Knight, Annie, and Amy G. Thank you so much. If I missed anybody, I'll look in a second here if anyone gave later, but thank you so much. And just a quick thanks to some of my new channel members here. We got a few new ones. So Terry Brugman, Anita Fisher, Stacia P, Cheryl, Xenoverse 2020, welcome as a channel member 2. Keo2242, Hazel, and Elizabeth Smith. One of the cool things with membership is that you get, today, actually, the tie was broken by anybody that voted by 19 votes. So all of those of you on Patreon and channel members, you're the ones that chose the magician today by a very small margin because it was a tie. So thank you. And that does make a difference. And that's one of the perks that I give back. Like I said, I'll have a Q&A coming up where you'll have another chance to give back. Welcome again to, let's see, Mauricia. Thank you so much. And I see Pippo and Trevor also gave back, and Kim and Mindfulness with Natalia and Diana, it looks like. There were a few last ones. Miss Baxter as well. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. So thank you so much for the upcoming 300,000 subscriber milestone. Again, I think I'll do a Q&A. I'll probably put some posts up on my community tab and on Patreon for the members to help me sort out what that's going to look like. And I'll try to pick the best questions and give back. And maybe we'll do something else special. I'll figure it out. In the meantime, thank you so much, everybody. Thanks to Dakota and Maria for your help today. I know there's a lot going on in the room. Much love and light. I'll see everybody soon. Join me tomorrow if you want to. I'll be here same sign or same time, same place for the sign of Leo. And again, Virgo and Libra towards the end of the week. Until I see you next, have a great day. And thanks again for everything. Much love and light from me to you. Bye-bye.